Hey guys, it's Cece, and today I'm coming to you with my AYEARATHON TBR. So AYEARATHON is a series of readathons that happen throughout the year. There is one for each month, and each month has a different theme. And I'm super excited because AYEARATHON is my first readathon of 2016. I only do readathons in the summer and over winter break because that's when I don't have schools. And I'm very, very excited for this readathon in particular because June is Pride Month, which is awesome, and that means that the theme for AYEARATHON is LGBTQIA+ books. The readathon will be starting today, I believe, June 6th, and it will go through the 12th. That is 7 days to read books, and I have an unreasonable TBR here of 6. 6 books. AYEARATHON, every month that they have a theme, they also have a book that the whole group reads together, but this month's book I have already read, so I will not be reading that one, and that is... that book is Every Day by David Levithan. So if you are joining in, this is the book that the people who are participating in AYEARATHON are reading. I really enjoyed it. I loved its discussion on gender identity. It's a really, really great book to read for a queer book-themed week. But as I said, I read this one, so I'm not going to be reading that this week. Let's talk about the 6 books that I would like to try to read. I'm going to start with the 2 books that I already mentioned in my June TBR, and then I'll go through to the rest. So the first book on my TBR is The Culling by Steven Dos Santos. This is the first book in a series, the Torchkeeper series. This is basically a dystopian book, but it has a lead gay character, which is awesome. One of the other things that I really wanted to do for this readathon was include not just contemporary books, so I have a few fantasy, and this one is dystopian, which is great. I love sci-fi and fantasy with queer characters. There needs to be a lot more of it. Basically what this book seems to be about is that there is this recruitment, and the lead character, Lucky, is involved in the recruitment, and if you fail, you have to choose a loved one who is an incentive, and if you fail, they will die, and his only living relative is his 4-year-old brother. So he's gonna do whatever it takes to get through this process, and then he starts to fall for another one of the boys who is involved in this process. I got this book for Christmas. It sounds very interesting, and I'm very excited to start it. The other book that I mentioned in my June TBR was Alex as Well by Alyssa Brugman. This is a YA contemporary, and it follows an intersex main character. The back of this book is basically explaining that everyone has always considered Alex to be a boy, but their gender identity is more complicated than that, so they decide to start identifying as a girl, which is throwing a lot of people off. So Alex is just sort of trying to figure out their gender identity. Yeah, basically very, very excited about this one, and it is short, which is awesome since I have so many books here. And the next book that I have here is one that I just barely went out and purchased. I've been talking about buying this for forever, and I made enough room on my TBR shelf, so I was allowed to go buy a new book. Thankfully, and I went and got If I Was Your Girl by Meredith Russo. This was on my list of most anticipated releases of 2016 because of how amazing the creative process is that has gone into this. This book is a YA contemporary, and it follows a trans girl as a lead character. But not only that, this book is own voices. It was written by a trans woman, and that is a trans woman model on the cover. And although I do not listen to audiobooks, from what I've heard, the audiobook for this book is also narrated by a trans woman. I'm just so impressed by the level of dedication and diversity that was included in going into making this book, and I can't wait to read it. I've heard so many incredible reviews of this book. I've been following Meredith Russo on Twitter for months, and she is impressive, and I love so many of the things she has to say, and I'm sure I'm gonna love this book. Next up, I have 3 books from the library, and the first of those is Every Heart a Doorway by Seanan, McGuire, I believe. This book has been sort of making its rounds on BookTube. People have been mentioning it here and there, but what is fantastic about this book is that it appears to be a fantasy book, like more like a novella almost. It's pretty short, it's under 200 pages, but it is a fantasy story with an asexual main character and a trans side character, which is awesome. I don't know a ton more about this book. It seems to be about missing children and them slipping into other worlds, and the top of the description says, Eleanor West's home for wayward children. No solicitations, no visitors, no quests. I cannot wait to read this. I'm so excited that this book exists in general, and yeah, I'm just psyched. Second to last here, we've got Far From You by Tess Sharpe. This is a thriller. As I've said with thrillers, I don't like to know anything about the plot before going in, so that is all I know about this book, except for the fact that the lead character is bisexual and uses the word bisexual in the book on the page, which is a rarity. So that is fantastic. This book is also on my list of top 16 to read in 2016, so I am checking a book off here, and it's just been way too long. I can't believe this much time has gone by and I haven't read this book, since this is one of the ones that is most frequently talked about that uses the word bisexual. And the final book that I have here is Ash by Malinda Lo. This is a retelling of Cinderella with a lesbian lead character. Yes, lesbian Cinderella. Basically, this is a book in which Cinderella falls in love with a huntress, and that sounds all levels of fantastic to me. This one is also own voices, and that thrills me. So yes, I've also waited way too long to read this one. So here you go. This is my TBR for a year-a-thon. It is beyond overestimating my skills. I did the math, because I always do a math before a readathon, and basically I'll have to read 244 pages a day if I expect to finish all 6 of these. We'll see. I really want to. But even if I don't finish all of these, it's Pride Month, so I'll just continue taking these into my TBR for the rest of the month, because I am super excited about each and every one of them. I will be vlogging for a year-a-thon, as I always do with my readathons, and that vlog will be up next week when the readathon is all over. If you are participating, please let me know down below. If you have a TBR that I can go watch, let me know. If you just want to tell me your TBR, do that also. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm so excited to start all of these books, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!